morning when I wake.
Hey guys, it's Jordan. Welcome back to another video. Today is another what I eat in a day where I am focusing on a certain nutrient or vitamin. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my first video in this series all about eating enough fiber every day. At the end, I asked you guys what mineral or what vitamin do you want me to focus on next? A lot of you said iron. So today I'm focusing on making sure that I get enough iron eating plant-based. Sorry if you can hear my dog eating in the background. He's getting his daily iron intake too. Not funny. You saw my breakfast this morning. I made some oatmeal, topped it with some tahini, blueberries, maple syrup, some pumpkin seeds. What else was in there? Some soy milk, cinnamon, all these really, really good toppings that I absolutely love. What I do is I add like half the toppings in with the oatmeal when it's cooking, and then like I reserve half for topping at the end, and that's a little tip. That way like all your oatmeal tastes good, not just what's on top. I will be showing you what I'm eating throughout the day, and at the end of the day, I will add everything into the Chronometer website, or I think they also have an app as well, because it gives you the nutrient breakdown for all the foods that you've eaten that day. And we're gonna just look at my iron intake for the day and what foods were the highest in iron that I ate. Also throughout the day, I'll be giving you my little facts about iron. That way you can be nice and informed next time somebody asks you how you get enough iron, or maybe you're kind of concerned that you're not getting enough and you just want to be reassured or know what to do if you're not getting enough. So first of all, why do we even need iron? Like, what does it do for us? What does it do in the body? Iron is a nutrient, and it's a nutrient that actually helps the hemoglobin in our red blood cells carry oxygen out to our muscles, therefore giving our muscles, energy to do the things that we're asking them to do. It is also involved in brain function and keeping our immune system nice and strong. Definitely an important nutrient. Our bodies are incredibly amazing, and they're able to sense when we need more of something and when we need less of something. So iron is a nutrient that our body actually recognizes, okay, we need more of this nutrient. If I eat more of it, it will absorb more. If I don't need as much of it, my body knows to absorb less. What actually happens is our body stores iron, and as we need it throughout the day, it pulls from that storage. So it's constantly keeping our levels in a balance for us. You just need to make sure that we've got, the good amount of storage that it needs so that it can pull from it every day. The daily recommended allowances of iron are different depending on gender and your age. For me, I am a female between the ages of 19 and 51. Therefore, my daily recommended allowance of iron is 18 milligrams. If you are a male and you are 19 years and older, your daily recommended allowance is 8 milligrams of iron. Women need more iron because of menstruation. So when menstruation happens, more iron is lost throughout the cycle. So we need more during those times. In addition, if a woman is pregnant, she needs enough iron for herself as well as the growing fetus. The main two categories of iron are heme iron and non-heme iron. You may have heard of them before, but if you haven't, many people will differentiate the two by saying that heme iron is the more absorbable iron than non-heme iron. So heme iron is better absorbed than non-heme iron. Basically, the difference is where they come from, what the source of that iron is. Heme iron is only found in muscle and blood and tissue from flesh, from animals. Non-heme iron is found in only plant-based sources. Major sources of non-heme iron include beans and legumes, nuts, seeds, dark leafy greens, things like blackstrap molasses is super high in iron, as well as any type of whole grain. Those are my facts about iron for now, so make sure you stay tuned for lunchtime because I'll be sharing some more with you. Back now for some lunch. I've just got some leftover soup heating up on the stove while we were on the topic of absorption and like the difference between absorption in heme iron versus plant-based non-heme iron. There are some things that you can do to increase the absorption or make a better environment for absorption if you're truly concerned about getting more iron in your diet. The biggest one is to eat vitamin C or eat something with vitamin C when you're eating other foods that are high in non-heme iron. This is a lot easier to do than it may sound. So many foods are high in vitamin C. Research shows that foods in vitamin C and other acids, if they're present along with the source of the non-heme iron, really help aid in the absorption in the body. Good sources of vitamin C include all your citrus fruits like oranges, tangerines, kiwis, mangoes, berries, and then also vegetables, you know, Brussels sprouts, bell peppers, dark leafy greens. All of those things are high in vitamin C. If we just think about my breakfast, I had like a ton of blueberries on there. So if there was any iron in, you know, the other ingredients, it would be better absorbed because I had the berries along with it. I also learned that if you truly are concerned about iron, or if you have found out that you are low in iron, it's good to not take in your iron along with coffee, tea, and calcium supplements because those actually decrease the absorption. But honestly, if you're eating, you know, if you drink your coffee or your tea in the morning with your breakfast and you're getting the bulk of your iron from your lunch and your dinner and your snacks, you're probably fine. Another thing you can do that I'm actually going to do later tonight is you can cook. So a lot of people know that, or you may not know, that cooking in a cast iron skillet actually adds more iron into the foods because of the cast iron literally, you know, getting into your food. I would say this shouldn't be relied on alone, just cooking in a cast iron skillet to get all your iron, because different skillets vary from, you know, their levels of iron, and it all depends on how well seasoned they are, things like that. But it's just kind of cool to know that the pan you're cooking in can add some nutrients. I made this stew about 2 nights ago. Yeah, 2 nights ago. And it's got big chunks of red potato, big chunks of carrot. It's got some tomato paste and diced tomato in there, and big cubes of tempeh, garlic, onion, red wine. And then I added some spinach to it at the end. I love doing that to leftover soups, like adding some fresh herbs or some fresh greens just to kind of jazz it up. And it's a great way to get a leafy green in, which, as I told you before, is high in iron. And then we've got the tomatoes in there, which are a great source of vitamin C. I'm just having that along with my English muffin, which is whole wheat, so it's a whole grain, so that's got more iron in it. So say I'm doing pretty good so far. I don't know, we'll see at the end. I highly recommend dipping your bread in your broth because it's magical. Just back from a walk with the dog, and I'm already thinking about a snack. I want to make a Chipotle hummus because I have these, wait, let me show you. I got these sweet plantain chips from Trader Joe's, but I'm not really crazy about them on their own, to be honest. But I think because they're slightly sweet, for me, they would go really well with something really spicy, like a dip. So I'm gonna try to make Chipotle hummus. I think I'm gonna make that so I can eat this as a snack later. We're gonna start with our chickpeas. Oop, lost some of them. This 1 can rinsed and drained. And we will add about a tablespoon of tahini, 1 clove of garlic, the juice from half of a lime. I'm going to add now our chipotle pepper, about this much. I don't know how much spice I can handle. Maybe I can get a little bit more. 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin and half a teaspoon of coriander, half a teaspoon of salt, a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Always good to scrape the sides down at least once while it's processing, just to make sure everything is getting all blended up nice and evenly. And the key with homemade hummus, I think, is you've got to let it blend or process longer than you think. Let it go for a minute so it can get really nice and creamy. These are what the plantain chips look like. Mmm, so creamy. And it's spicy. Ooh, yeah, spicy, but good, not too spicy. I think it's gonna be perfect with this chip. Yummy. Well, a lot of people's concern with iron is that they are deficient in iron. We're worried that we're not getting enough, right? And especially following a plant-based diet, that's a valid concern. What happens when you don't get enough iron? Well, what happens is your body runs out of that iron storage that I was talking about earlier, and it no longer has anything to help the oxygen get carried to your muscles. When this happens, it is known as iron deficiency anemia. A lot of people don't know that there are different kinds of anemia. Anemia can happen for different reasons, and having low iron is only one reason that an individual may have anemia. So when you go to your health practitioner and you say that you want to be tested for anemia, they're gonna test your hemoglobin, most likely. And if that's low, then they're gonna dig into that and find out why your hemoglobin is not normal. When an individual develops an iron deficiency anemia, they can experience symptoms like fatigue and weakness, difficulty regulating their body temperature, things like really pale skin and fingernails, sometimes even dizziness and headache. And another really big sign is an enlarged tongue, or like a swollen tongue. If you are a vegetarian or vegan or plant-based, or not eating, the animal heme iron products, are you more likely to be low in iron? And according to the research, no, we're not any more likely than people who eat an omnivorous diet to develop iron deficiency anemia. I will link all the research articles that I used for this video down below in the description box, so make sure you check that out. So one study found that vegetarians who eat a well-balanced, diversified diet, so all that means is you're not eating the same thing every single day, you're eating lots of different kinds of grains, lots of different kinds of nuts and seeds and fruits and vegetables. As long as you're eating a varied diet, you're at no greater risk than anybody else to develop an iron deficiency. Just going to get every last little bit of this out of my food processor into the container. Got some other errands and appointments to run to this afternoon. And then before I know it, it'll be snack time. Whoops. And dinner time, and I'll check in with you guys then. Back again, and it is time for me to make dinner. I'm just having a glass of this blueberry ginger kombucha and just finishing my snack of plantain chips and this Chipotle hummus. I also wanted to talk about what can happen if you get too much iron in basically a meta-analysis where you round up all the studies on a similar topic and kind of draw conclusions from those studies. And what this study, meta-analysis, came to a conclusion was that individuals who eat too much heme iron, so too much of the kind that comes from animal products, they have a 31% increased risk of coronary heart disease. So some thoughts on why that might be is because when we eat an excess of iron, it doesn't just leave our body right away. It gets stored because we're developing a storage system so that our body can pull from it every day. And that iron gets stored in your liver, in lots of major organs, your liver, your heart. Too much buildup of iron can lead to chronic conditions like liver disease and issues with your heart like coronary heart disease. All that to say, it's super important not to self-diagnose yourself with an iron deficiency, because over supplementing with iron, especially heme iron, can have a lot of problems that go along with it. You think you may be low in iron, or maybe you're not sure but you just want peace of mind, ask your health practitioner for a blood test. Tell them, here are my symptoms, here's why I think I might be iron deficient. If you eat a plant-based or vegan diet, let them know like, hey, my diet is different, and so I really just want to have these levels checked, and they should be able to do that for you. Anemia can also be caused by other vitamin deficiencies, not just iron, like I talked about earlier. A deficiency in vitamin B12 can cause anemia, and a lot of people that eat plant-based that don't supplement with B12 are likely deficient in B12, so that could also be If you think you're anemic, that could also be a reason why, is more the B12 versus the iron. Okay, enough education. Let's make some dinner. Told you we'd be using my cast iron skillet. So right now I've just got a whole orange bell pepper just chopped up in there with a little bit of salt and pepper. Look at those marks. Oh, it's gonna taste so good. Cook the peppers along with some of this vegan sausage that I cut up. This is Tofurky brand Italian sausage. Let's see how much iron is in this. Not bad, 20% of your daily recommended value. I found it at my local Kroger, along with some frozen spinach, these frozen porcini mushrooms that I found at Trader Joe's. I'm super excited to try these. So it's kind of like a sausage mushroom ragu with spinach and peppers. And then I'm going to add in some of this marinara sauce and probably a sprinkle of red pepper flakes. We're gonna have all of that on top of some polenta. It came in this package. My parents got this for me when they were in Charleston. It's actually yellow grits, but yellow grits are the same thing as polenta. So I'm just following the instructions on the back. And when they're done, I'm going to add some lemon zest, some thyme, a little bit of olive oil, and some nutritional yeast. Just gonna keep it really simple.
And you fill my head with you. Shall I write it in a letter? Shall I try to get it down? Or you fill my head with pieces of a song I can't get out. Can I be close to you?
All right, so I just finished putting all my food for the day into this chronometer website. So I will put that up now so you can look at it along with me. Here is all my food that I put in, and then it's got your macronutrient breakdown, like your protein, your fat, and your carbs, and your calories, all that good stuff. And then we get to our targets, and this is where we can see that I got 167% of the iron that I needed. So I got 30 milligrams of iron today, and then I also got 114% of my vitamin C. And then if we hover over the percentage, we can see what foods the vitamin C came from. And then we can scroll down and do the same thing for iron, and we can see that, oh, it looks like my dark chocolate was the highest percentage that gave me most of my iron. If you get nothing else from this video, eat more dark chocolate. And then the mushrooms, the potatoes, and the tahini, and the tempeh, and the oats. So those were all like the main sources of iron. Pretty cool. So that is it for me. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. Please let me know if you have questions down in the comments below. Also, let me know if you want me to do another video like this. I'm actually thinking calcium might be next. If you want me to do calcium next, leave a comment below that says calcium with a smiley face, and I will definitely do that one soon. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button, like this video if you want to see more like it, and we'll see you next week for another one. Bye!